Hello everyone, I am Johnson. Today, let's learn about common web and desktop layout patterns. The commonly used layout patterns in web and desktop design and development are a set of layout patterns that are frequently used to organize and present web page content. As we mentioned earlier, the interface structure of a website or app is essentially determined by its layout and navigation. There are several benefits to being familiar with these commonly used layout patterns. Consistency. Layout patterns provide a consistent structure across different pages of a website, creating a cohesive and familiar user experience. Consistency helps users navigate and understand the content more easily. Visual hierarchy. Layout patterns help establish a clear visual hierarchy by organizing and prioritizing content. They guide users' attention to important elements, such as headings, calls to action, or featured content, making it easier for them to find what they need. Efficiency. By using common layout patterns, designers and developers can leverage existing design solutions and frameworks, saving time and effort. These patterns have been tested and proven to work effectively, allowing for efficient development and maintenance of web pages. User expectations. Users have become accustomed to certain layout patterns through their experiences on various websites. By using familiar layout patterns, designers can meet user expectations and provide a more intuitive and user-friendly interface. Now let's introduce some commonly used web layout patterns. In the upcoming lessons, we will use Axure to create these commonly used web layout patterns. 1. Single column layout. A single column layout is a web layout pattern where the content of a web page is organized and presented in a single vertical column. In this layout, all the elements, such as text, images, and other media, are stacked on top of each other in a linear fashion. This layout is commonly used for simple and straightforward web pages, providing a clean and focused reading experience for users. 2. Two-column layout. A two-column layout is a web layout pattern where the content of a web page is divided into two vertical columns. The page is typically split into a main content column and a sidebar column. The main content column occupies a larger portion of the page and is used to display the primary content, such as articles, blog posts, or product listings. The sidebar column is narrower and is often used to display secondary content, such as navigation menus, advertisements, or related links. This layout provides a balanced and organized structure for presenting content and allows for effective use of space on the web page. 3. Three-column layout. A three-column layout is a web layout pattern where the content of a web page is divided into three vertical columns. The page is typically split into a main content column, a sidebar column on the left, and another sidebar column on the right. The main content column occupies the central portion of the page and is used to display the primary content, such as articles, blog posts, or product descriptions. The sidebar columns are narrower and are often used to display secondary content, such as navigation menus, advertisements, or additional information. This layout provides a balanced and organized structure for presenting content. 4. Grid layout. Grid layout is a web layout module in CSS that allows developers to create complex and responsive grid-based layouts for web pages. It provides a two-dimensional grid system, allowing elements to be placed in rows and columns. With grid layout, developers have precise control over the placement, sizing, and alignment of elements within the grid. 5. Responsive layout. A responsive layout refers to a web design approach that aims to create a website or application that can adapt and respond to different screen sizes and devices. The goal of a responsive layout is to provide an optimal viewing experience for users, regardless of whether they are accessing the website on a desktop computer, tablet, or mobile device. In a responsive layout, the design and content of the website will automatically adjust and reflow based on the screen size and orientation. This ensures that the website remains usable and visually appealing, with content that is easy to read and interact with, regardless of the device being used. 6. Fixed width layout. A fixed width layout is a web design approach where the width of the website or application is set to a specific value and remains constant regardless of the screen size or device being used. In a fixed width layout, the content and elements of the website are designed to fit within this predetermined width. In a fixed width layout, the width of the website is typically specified in pixels, example 960px, 1200px, or other fixed units. This means that the website will appear the same size on all devices, regardless of the screen resolution or size. The content and elements within the fixed width layout will not adjust or reflow based on the available screen space. 7. Fluid layout. A fluid layout is a web design approach that allows the content and elements of a website to dynamically adjust and fill the available space based on the screen size or device being used. In a fluid layout, the width of the website is specified using relative units, such as percentages, rather than fixed units like pixels. In a fluid layout, the content and elements within the website will expand or contract proportionally to fill the available space. This means that the website will adapt and respond to different screen sizes, providing a more flexible and responsive design. 8. Top navigation layout. A top navigation layout is a web design approach where the main navigation menu of a website is positioned at the top of the page, typically horizontally across the width of the screen. In this layout, the navigation menu is easily accessible and visible to users, allowing them to navigate through different sections or pages of the website. 9. Sidebar navigation layout. A sidebar navigation layout is a web design approach where the main navigation menu of a website is positioned vertically along the side of the page, typically on the left or right-hand side. In this layout, the navigation menu is presented as a list of links or icons that users can click on to navigate through different sections or pages of the website. 10. Full screen layout. A full screen layout is a web design approach where the content of a web page expands to fill the entire screen, creating a visually immersive experience for the user. In this layout, the content is displayed without any visible borders or margins, maximizing the use of available screen space. 11. Card layout. A card layout is a web design approach where content is organized and presented in a series of individual cards. Each card represents a distinct piece of information or content unit and typically includes a combination of text, images, and other media elements. Cards are often displayed in a grid-like pattern, allowing users to easily scan and interact with the content. 12. Masonry layout. Masonry layout is a web design approach that arranges elements in a grid-like structure with varying heights and widths. Unlike traditional grid layouts where elements are aligned in strict rows and columns, masonry layout allows elements to be positioned based on available vertical space, resulting in a more dynamic and visually interesting arrangement. 13. Tiles layout. Tiles layout is a web design approach that organizes content into a grid-like structure where each content unit is represented by a tile. These tiles are typically square or rectangular in shape and can contain various types of content, such as images, text, icons, or interactive elements. 14. Split layout. Split layout is a web design approach where the content of a web page is divided into two or more distinct sections that are visually separated from each other. This layout creates a clear division between different types of content or functionalities, allowing users to focus on one section at a time. 15. Navbar and content layout. Navbar and content layout is a web design approach where the navigation bar navbar is positioned at the top of the page and the main content is displayed below it. This layout provides a clear separation between the navigation elements and the content, allowing users to easily access the navigation options while focusing on the primary content. 16. Breadcrumb navigation layout. Breadcrumb navigation layout is a web design approach that displays a hierarchical trail of links, typically at the top of a web page, to show users their current location within a website structure. It is called breadcrumb because it resembles a trail of breadcrumbs that you can follow back to where you started. 17. Mobile-first layout. Mobile-first layout is a design approach that prioritizes the development of a website or application for mobile devices before considering larger screens, such as desktops or tablets. It involves designing and optimizing the user experience specifically for mobile devices and then progressively enhancing it for larger screens. The above are commonly used web layout patterns. It is worth noting that a web page does not rely on a single layout pattern, but rather a combination of multiple layout patterns. For example, a website may incorporate both responsive and fluid layouts, as well as multi-column layouts. Please consider the requirements of your project and utilize a combination of layout patterns accordingly. In the upcoming lessons, we will learn how to use Axure to create these common web and desktop layout patterns. Stay tuned for more. If you like my video, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel.